Okay, Rabotai, we are learning, and today we are learning about Bitachon in Hashem. Haboter Belokim, a person who trusts in Hashem. That's more than the torah. A person can be laser focused. When you believe 100% that everything in your life is from Borei Olam and that nothing could veer you off, you're fully focused, that's the person that can always stand strong in Avodat Hashem. There was one time a Marine, like one of those things, what do they call it, the Navy SEAL or something like that? So somebody sent me the clip that a Navy SEAL got up and he said he won like 3 medals and this and that. They asked him, how'd you do it? He said, I was so laser focused on A, B, and C that I said nothing is going to veer me off. Sometimes a person starts his journey on Avodat Hashem, where he wants to succeed in his service of Hashem. He wants to be the best that he can be, the best Avodat Hashem that he can be. And a lot of times, things can be thrown at him. You ever see a video, you ever play a video game? You ever play any video game? You know how you're running and there's somebody like the bad guys, they're shooting at you or throwing things at you, and you gotta jump and down and up and down and duck and this and that. It's the same thing. And Avodat Hashem, you have to understand something. The same thing. The Yetzirah is gonna just throw things at you, where it's gonna veer you off in the sense where, this happened, that happened. And if you're not focused, you could just get entrapped in his trap. And that's why he's telling you, when you have the full faith in Hashem, sometimes things come up. Let's say financially. A guy financially, he fell in hard times. And then he could be a chicken without a head. What's going on? This, that. And he could totally lose focus, and he could totally lose his, heaven forbid, his track ways on, and veer off of his focus of serving Hashem. But if he has this Emuna, Bitachon, Hashem so strong, he doesn't care about that. He doesn't mind about that. He knows Hashem's taking care of him. He knows it's only a test. He knows it's only to see how much he can endure. There was a fellow yesterday. You ever hear of a kol koreh? Kol koreh, ever hear that? It's one of those phone calls that you get from the entire community. Hi, we are, it's like audio. It's and they have every cell phone in the whole entire district. Hi, we are calling on behalf of this. So there was one person that was involved in something very, very big. And the kol koreh came out saying, be careful from this person and this, that. And every person got it. I heard this story firsthand. And that night he was invited to speak out of town. Wherever it was. And he went and he spoke like nothing happened. So one of the people asked him, Baruch Hashem, now everything is good, everything is kosher, whatever happened. But at the time, he could have just, oh my goodness, this is what's happening to my name. I can't go speak no way. I'm embarrassed. I'm this, I'm that. And he went. And they asked him after. He said, how'd you do it? He said, I knew one thing. I'm doing what I have to do. I'm doing my Avodat Hashem. I have my full faith in God, and this is what happened when it is an accident that the call went out, and I'm embarrassed. But you know what? I have to do what I have to do. This is what Hashem wants me to do right now. This is what I'll do. Even though we could be like, oh my goodness, I can't go, I can't speak, I can't this, I can't that. Why? Because he's telling you over here. You have to put in thoughts how you could have that bitachon Hashem 100%, even more and more. What's the first thought? He says that you have to know, Ki Elokim Hashem, Merachem al Adam, He has mercy on the person, Yoter mikol merachem, more than any human possibility that you can imagine. He has the most mercy that you can imagine. And that's why when you know that, he's the most merciful, then you realize, I'm in good hands. You have to have thoughts of that. Who is the most merciful in the world. Hashem. And human beings have mercy, by the way. Human beings have mercy. Imagine a person comes to you. Take an imagination. Imagine a person comes to you and he needs something so badly. And he's on his, he's begging you, he's this, he's that. No matter how tough of a man you are, your heart will melt and you'll help that person. You heard? I don't care how the toughest guy, tough as nails. You know, some people are tough. You know, go do this, go do that, don't come to me, don't this, don't that, whatever it is. If a person would come to that person, one-on-one, take a one-on-one, from face to face, and they speak, and the person's pouring out his heart to the guy, telling him all his problems. I don't care who the guy is, the guy will do the utmost that he can to help that person. I'm not joking. The utmost to help that person. Hashem is more merciful than anything that you can imagine. Whatever you can imagine, times it by a trillion, a zillion. He's so merciful that when you know that he has so much mercy and he has so much rachamim, you know you're in good hands. My Father in heaven. Hashem is my Father. I told you the story how it was a good friend of mine. I was sitting down and I asked one of the guys in my class, so who, did anybody of the classmates, anybody become wealthy, this, that? It was just a random question. I wasn't even, Any rabbis, how you say, any rabbis, any doctors, any wealthy guy, you want to know? So one guy tells me, so-and-so. So I said, oh, interesting, nice. He was always a good guy. The next night, I was at a wedding, and I saw that guy in the wedding. It's like, oh, it's doing. I was just thinking about you. Somebody was telling me about you last night. That you made some wealth. I was like, how'd you do it? Tells me, no, you don't. He tells me, I have a very wealthy father. I'm saying, you know that, right? I was like, no, I didn't know that. He said, yeah, very, very wealthy, and he put me in the business. And when he put me in the business, Baruch Hashem, little by little, it flourished. I was like, oh, that's very nice. So he says, and the same wealthy father that I have, you have. He was talking about Hashem. So Hashem gave me everything. Isn't that beautiful? He's my father. He's my father. When you know your father has the bank, if you know your father he owns the bank, are you going to be nervous about money? If you know your father's worth $100 trillion, are you worried for a second about money? Are you, yes or no? You're not worried. If you know your father is the one who created every health issue, like, all these vaccines and things like that. If you know he created cures to every health problem, all of a sudden the person gets sick. Oh my goodness, he gets nervous. Oh! But your father is the one who created all these cures. And he created another medication to cure you. Would you be nervous? Would you? Never. I know of a guy, a person. I'll tell you off video. I'll tell you who the person is off video. Okay, listen to this. And that was I knew him. He was a little bit older than me, and at the time, he got very, very sick. He got so sick that he was literally like a toothpick. Like I'm talking about, you have meat. It was so skinny. And then he couldn't walk anymore. He was on a wheelchair. It was just a matter of time till we see him dead. That was it. I'll tell you the name off video. I saw him I saw him in a wheelchair, skinny, could hardly move. And they were wheeling him. his wife was wheeling him. His wife was wheeling him. And I remember that there was, his family was praying like crazy. And they were making the brachot parties. They were making shiurim. They were making prayers across the clock. And Tehillim, everything. I'm telling you, I didn't hear what happened, but 2 or 3 years later, after I saw him in a wheelchair, like on his way out of this world, I saw him walking regular. I saw him in a Beit Midrash, sitting down learning, like a regular person, like you never knew that he was sick. I came to him, I said, holy cow, where'd you come from? I remember I saw you 3 years ago in a wheelchair on your way out. He says, my father is good. My father is good. He's like, listen, you have to have that faith in Emuna Hashem. Could you imagine such a story? I'm an eyewitness to the story. I saw it. I saw the guy on his way out. I was like, oh my God, it's a matter of time. Boom! Flipped. He's trying to tell you, the Orchot Sadikim is trying to tell you over here, you will never ever worry your whole entire life. You'll never ever worry your whole entire life. Do you hear that? You want to be worry-free? By the way, the guy who's worry-free is living such a great life. He doesn't have any stress. No? Huh? You have stress or no? You have stress? One guy's telling me, I have stress, I have this, I have that. What do you mean? If you know Borei Olam is your daddy, and everything comes through him, so what are you stressed about? What are you stressed about? If you know that he is the person, he is the most merciful ever. He has so much rachamim. So what are you nervous about? What are you worried about? What are you thinking about? Hashem wants your bitachon in him. Yeah. Feels good, talking about it. You gotta put it to action. It feels good hearing about it. But when the time comes and you need something and now start panicking, worrying, you gotta, that's what it is. I'll tell you a personal story that happened to me. When we were building the shul, we were buying the shul, and before we bought the shul, it was expense. It was a very big. We're talking about a lot of money. And I remember at the time, there's a mortgage and this. It's like, what's gonna be? I was like thinking to myself, like, what's gonna be? We're about to and then I didn't see a person for 3 years. And after that, I saw him at a bris, and that was the time where I was just thinking about it, like, where is that gonna come? It's like, and he tells me, remember you were giving a class? I was like, yeah, about 3 years. I was like, yeah. So I came to you after the class and I said that if this certain thing comes through, he was working a business deal, certain thing comes through, I'm going to give you X amount. I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, I'm giving you the check. And it was like off the cuff, like from where to where. But Hashem, it came through at the right time. You understand? You hear what's going on over here? This is what he's telling you over here. You have to think. He says, even when you're not protecting yourself, Hashem's protecting you for you. You ever see those cases where the guy's driving and all of a sudden you almost hit that guy? Hashem is there with you. He's taking care of you, whether you see him, whether you don't see him. He's there taking care of you. You hear that? And it gives a lot of comfort when you know that. It gives a lot of comfort when you know that. Remember these stories that we said. Review the stories, because really, really, you have to understand, when you have Hashem in your life, and you have Hashem in your life. When you put him in your life, where you're walking with him 24/7, where you're thanking him, where you're saying, Borei Olam. I saw a sefer yesterday. I saw a sefer called Ahavat Hayim. And he writes over there in Parashat Tzav, you can look it up, One of the things he writes over there is have the conversation with Hashem. Step away a little bit on your own time. Borei Olam, Hashem, have mercy on me. Help me with this and help me with that. Talk from heart to heart. And Hashem is there with us. Hashem is going to help. Hashem is always helping. And everything is good. Sometimes people say, oh, Rabbi, you had a great derush, but this, but that. Forget the but. At the end of the day, it's facts. It's facts. There's no bad. Hashem is awesome. Hashem is good. Think good thoughts, positive thoughts. People have negative thoughts. Negative thing comes out because the guy's getting punished for having negative thoughts. You know that? Because he's thinking negative. You have to have positive. You have to have positive. I'm not joking. Positive. You have to have a positive mental attitude. What kind of business is that? Oh, I'm DP. Oh, I'm sad. I'm there. What? I always tell you, the fact that you're born Jewish, you should be happy with a smile your whole life, 24/7. Balaam, when he was dying, Balaam said, I wish I could die like a Jew. So what are you talking about? Says they have the Gan Eden. They have the Olam Haba. This whole world's a whole way to get to the next world. You already have Hashem. You won the jackpot. You won the jackpot. You won the jackpot. Nothing else in life should bother you. You should never have a worry in your life. Because your Father is Hashem. And when you know your Father is Hashem, you'll have not a worry, not a stress. Because He has the cures. He has the money. He has the fame. He has everything.